I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined in the studio by Graham Rodway. We're both sitting here looking like a pair of tits in our Racing Post Christmas jumpers. Over in Ireland at Paddy Power Towers, we've got Frank Hickey with all the odds and the hot tips, and I am delighted. I'm amazed I can actually say this. I'm welling up so much. It's an emotional return to the Postcast to Brendan Duke, formerly of Paddy Power. I suppose now we better call him a racing expert. Actually, we don't need to call him anything. He's Brendan Duke, and that's why he's back. Brendan, welcome back. How are you?
I'm in good form, thanks, Bruce. I'm in good form. Yeah.
And you're actually in the Racing Post's Dublin office now, aren't you? Using our ISDN facilities. How are you finding it?
Oh, it's a beautiful facility. Yeah. You know, I don't think I've any excuses from here.
Is it a hive of activity, or are the lads sitting there reading porn mags and drinking Harp Lager as usual?
Well, it has the feel of a bit of a support meeting because they were at their Christmas do last night, so they all look a little bit ginger. But they're getting each other through the day, I think.
Jolly good. And what's been happening to you since you left Paddy Power? Have you gone on and forged a career as a professional punter, or are you sleeping rough in St Stephen's Green, or what's happening?
No, well, I've been tipping away on the horses, and despite some violations I've suffered in Dundalk, I've been doing okay, but not as a professional punter, just tipping away. But I tell you what did happen to me. Something happened to me that may be unprecedented in the history of humanity.
Pray tell.
Well, the lady next door knocked in a few weeks ago, and she said, "Are you aware that there's a dead crane hanging from the back gutter of your house?" So, I mean, obviously, I thought... I thought she'd lost her mind. So anyway, I went out the back to check, and it was a grisly scene, Bruce. So hanging like a turkey from the back gutter was a dead crane.
Sorry, a crane is like a wildfowl, is it, or something?
Well, it's a wading bird. I would have said, I would have been 50-50 whether it was a crane or a heron, but the lady next door, I think, has a bit of ornithological background. So anyway, I've given her the benefit of the doubt that it was a crane. So anyway, hanging there, and this is how Mexican cartels send a warning to their enemies. So I have to look at this thing anyway, decide what to do. So I said to my sister, "But there's a dead crane hanging from the back gutter." She happened to be up in the house at the time. And she says, "Well, this is horrific. I can't deal with this. What you want to do is ring a man and get this sorted." Well, I can tell you, Bruce, that I am a man. And as a man, if there are any dead birds on my property, I'll deal with them.
Right.
So what I did was...
How high off the ground is this poor thing?
I'm going to say it's a 2-storey house. So would that be about 12 feet?
Okay.
Maybe that'd be a guesstimate. So anyway, I went down the side of the gaff and I got a length of timber, because that's what men have down the side of their houses. Knocked the crane off the gutter and buried it out the back garden.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I was hoping that might lead to some sort of romantic engagement with the lady next door. It didn't work out that way, no?
She's a good age now. She's a lot of experience bird watching, so probably a little bit old for me.
Many a fine tune played on an old fiddle, I'd say.
Yeah, I respect that, yeah.
Let's get stuck into the action then. Ascot on Saturday, the highlight of the weekend is the JLT Long Walk Hurdle, and there's a decent field gathered for this. And Frank, give us a clue as to how Paddy Power are betting.
You know what I mean. Harry is 5-4. Alex de la Regia 11-2. Little Rockefeller is 7-1. Ballyoptic is 8-1. Petit Zig 10-1. And Tom Sport 2 is 12s, and we're 14-1 bar.
By the way, before we go on, how did you two get on with each other? You were colleagues, obviously, in the odds-making department. Frank, did you like Brendan?
Oh, Brendan was the life and soul of the office.
Was he? You couldn't find any fault in him, no?
No fault at all.
Really?
A top man, to be fair.
A much missed?
Very much missed. Yeah, we had our racing night out last Sunday, and he was very much missed.
On the bus?
It was a good night, but
you went on that fun bus, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good night.
How were you Monday morning?
I didn't surface till about 4 o'clock Monday. I was in a bad way.
And Brendan, what about Frank, a real up-and-comer? Now, yours were big shoes to fill, but Frank's come in and tipped some huge winners, so he's got a following like you used to have.
Well, I mean, and absolutely no surprise to me, but Bruce, Frank the betting tank Hickey, we used to call him in the office. So, I mean, it comes as no surprise to me that he's tipping winners left, right and centre.
But you're slightly put out that you weren't invited on the fun bus? They forgot you fairly quickly, didn't they?
Oh, no, I was invited. Very, very kindly, the lads invited me, but I was in England visiting my daughter, so I couldn't go.
Oh, right. OK, fine. Well, Brendan, we'll stick with you. Who's going to win the long walk hurdle and why?
Well, I mean, in all probability, you know what I mean, Harry will win it. Just at the prices, though, I thought Little Rockefeller was a big price relative to him. They're like 5 to 4 and 7 to 1. Is that right, Frank?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought, I think Little Rockefeller beat Ballyoptic. He's £4 better off with him for the Weatherby run. Granted, Ballyoptic would have beaten him. But he's come forward, he's run really well against Yanworth, giving him weight. There was nothing in the Weatherby run that suggested the trip would be an issue. I think he could even be better at 3 miles. And just at the prices, I have it between the two of them, so he looks a knock in each way bet to me, the Rockefeller.
Little Rockefeller each way for Brendan. What about you, G-Rod?
Yeah, I always think that one of the best betting maxims to go by is you're looking for an improver that is already the best horse in the race. And I don't think they come much more obvious than you know what I mean, Harry. He's already the best horse in the race. His racing post rating is way in advance of anything else in there. And he's improving. His last 3 runs have all been career bests. And he was massively impressive when winning at Newbury. I think he's an absolute cert.
Do you?
Mm.
Oh, blimey. And of course, the horse that was going well when it unshipped, he's not here, is he? Old, what's the Mead horse?
Snow Falcon.
Yes,
Snow Falcon. So that's another positive. So basically, it's fairly simple. The favourite wins, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think it's a strong race either. You look at the rest of them. You know, I mean, Little Rockefeller's a lovely, likeable horse, isn't he? And, you know, he's done brilliantly well to progress as well as he has, but he falls short of the top class. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And Ballyoptic has come up short as well recently. Of course, we don't know much about the French horse, Alex de la Regia, who's been doing all its winning in Auteuil. Steve Mason's got it rated £7 below, you know what I mean, Harry, on Racing Post ratings. So suggests that probably got a bit to find. But
Paul Keeley's gone with the French horse, hasn't he?
Yeah, sometimes they do get a little bit underestimated in the market just because, you know, we don't know anything about them. But I don't know, I thought 5 to 1, it was short enough.
OK, fair enough. And what about you, Frank?
Yeah, you know what I mean, Harry. He looked impressive at Newbury, but I would have liked to have seen Snow Falcon stand up to see how it would have ended up, because I don't think anything else in the race was up to much that day, bar Snow Falcon, and you know what I mean, Harry. Personally, I think he's short enough at 5 to 4. I had 2 against him. The French horse, Alex de la Regia, I had a look today at the race the last time in Auteuil, and he was mightily impressive how he gave the front runners a bit of rope and reeled them in on the straight at his ease and cleared away after the last. But there's one in here at a price, now I could be barking up the wrong tree, but when Thomas Berthoud at 12 to 1, he's run 17 times over hurdles and been out of the 3 once. In his novice days over hurdles, he gave Cole Harden a spanking here. It didn't work out for him, the Hennessy, but I think he might just go well with the ground to suit. Like, I think if the ground was soft or heavy, I wouldn't be interested. But on good ground, I think he's an each way price, and I might give him an go at 12 to 1.
Interesting sus. Before we move on, one of the many things we've missed Brendan from is his pronunciation of French horses. Frank and G-Rod had a pathetic attempt at pronouncing the French one. So, Brendan, perhaps you could just explain to them how we should be pronouncing this beast.
What's it called again, Bruce?
Well, you tell me.
Oh, it's just I don't have my computer in front of me. So
Racing Post IT's let you down. Alex de la Regia. Would you agree with that one?
Alex de la Regia. Oh, yeah. I love the rolling oar, Bruce. Beautiful work. Yeah.
You did it even better.
Okay.
We'll move on. 150. The BGC Partners handicap chase. This one's on Channel 4, 2.25 miles. And G-Rod, we'll start with you for your idea of the winner.
Yeah, it's a very, very tough race. Ravens Tower for Ben Pauling. I thought we ran one of his best races over hurdles at this course, won nicely. Has been doing well over fences recently. I quite liked his run last time out when he finished 3rd. And I think Wayne Hutchinson's quite an interesting booking. I think Ravens Tower will go really well. The other ones that I've got to throw in is Andy Kelly, who I was at Plumpton a couple of years ago, or it might have been last year, when he won very impressively first time up over fences, and then we didn't see him again for the rest of the year, and then he unseated first time out. So we don't really know if the ability still remains, but if it does, he could be a big player.
So your big bet Ravens Tower, small bet Andy Kelly.
Yeah, massively competitive race though.
What about you, Brendan?
Oh, this race should carry a wealth warning for punters, shouldn't it? I mean, it looks a bit. I just had a quick look at it. Well, I actually had a good look at it because I was going to try and find a bet, and it looks about 7-1 the field to me, and it's 15 runners. I mean, it's just punters getting kicked around as if it wasn't hard enough. You only get 3 places. Pass. I'll have to pass on this one, I'm afraid.
Are you passing, Frank, or have you got a view?
I have a few, which is no surprise, I'm sure to you, but Poker School reappeared at Sandown over hurdles on a mark of 1-2-2, and he won well that day. He went to Utoxeter next time, over 2.5 miles. He won at Sandown, over 2 miles. But he went to Utoxeter over fences then last time out, and the ground was soft enough for him, and they kind of outstayed him. He finished 4th that day, but he is back down in trip slightly on far better ground, which I think will suit, and he's running off a mark £5 lower than what he won over Sandown with. So with Donagh Myler taking another 3 off his back, I think it's going to be a big day for Donagh Myler tomorrow. I think this will go well at it. I think it'll be a massive price as well. I'll be having a small few quid each way on him.
Who's that? Poker School, yeah?
Poker School, yeah.
Good stuff. I was slightly distracted because I was Googling pictures of cranes, and they're beautiful looking birds, aren't they, Brendan?
Oh, beautiful bird, yeah. Well, I mean, I gave him a good send-off. I said a few words as I threw the earth over him.
What kind of beak did he have? Because there's a variety based on Google Images. Did he have a yellow bill?
I couldn't tell you the colour. It was a long bill. I mean, those wading birds, that's how you know them, isn't it? They need a good long bill to dig into the mud.
And was he a white one or a silver, a sort of grey one?
I'm going to say grey because looking at his position in the gutter, I think he committed suicide. So he must have been under a lot of stress. So I'm going to go with grey.
A salutary lesson to us all not to end up in the gutter. At 3 o'clock, we've got the Lavazza Jolly Silver Cup. And we've got some prices as well, Frank, haven't we?
We do. It's 5-1 Go Conquer, 13-2 Edward, 8-1 both Manila Daddy and Irish Saint. It's 10-1 Le Mercury, Fletcher's Flyer and 4th Act, 12-1 The Druid's Nephew and 14-1 Bar.
G-Rod?
Yeah, this used to be a really cracking race. I remember Gold Cup winner winning this. I'm sure I was there when Cool Dawn won this race on his way to his surprise win.
You'd have only been a young lad in those days,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
yeah, I was, yeah. He's another massive improvement, wasn't he? Anyway, Irish Saint for Paul Nicholls hit my tracker after his run last time out at Cheltenham. Been off the track for an awful long time, and I thought he went through the race at Cheltenham very nicely. He travelled well, traded quite short in running, but sort of tied up in the straight almost as if he was in need of it. I mean, Paul Nicholls, how good is Paul Nicholls in these chases?
Unbelievable.
He showed the other day when he sent out that Le Président to beat Lamy Surge just how quickly he can get them to improve. And I think Irish Saint's a massive player.
OK, you like Irish Saint. Brendan, who do you like?
Well, I particularly liked the race when Safir Daru was in it because I thought he was making the market. But in spite of his defection, I'm going to stick with Edward. Because I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago when Paul Keeley put this horse up. He made a compelling case for a race in Ascot. And it was a great tip. The only problem was the pesky fences kept getting in the way. I mean, I don't know how he finished within 2. Now, even if he'd have jumped the second last, which he managed to bungle as well. I mean, it was an error-strewn round. He might have won. He's still only beaten 2.5 lengths. Kyle Morlock and God's Own have come out and given the form a solid look. He's dropped 4 pounds. As G-Rod mentioned earlier, the hutch is a good angle, takes over from Craig Nicol. Up a couple of furlongs, might take the pressure off his jumping. If he puts in any sort of a competent round of jumping, I think he'll win.
OK, and Frank, who's your idea of the winner of this one?
I like Nichol's other runner, Le Mercury. David Jennings put him up on his entry run there when he was second behind Many Clouds when Manila Rocco fell when upsides of Mercury at the last. But this is first run the handicap chase, and I get the feeling Paul Nicholls will be happy enough with the mark of 152. Like, they bigged this horse up. He's probably been a little bit disappointing in the whole, but he's run okay in 2 runs at Ascot. He won a race over 2.5, I think, when Amor Alato unseated at the last, and he was a close enough third in the Reynoldstown last year. Sam Twiston Davis is up. I can see Edward running a big race. I'd agree with Brendan there. He could go well, but yeah, I'm going to have a play on Le Mercury each way.
OK.
It's 10-1 at the moment.
Jolly good. And the final race at Ascot we're going to look at is the 3:35. It's the Wessex Youth Trust Handicap hurdle, no problem for each way punters here. There's 19 runners, and take us through the front runners as far as the betting goes, Frank.
Yeah, we're actually paying 5 places on this race.
Oh, jolly good.
Plenty of value for people. We're 11-2 Golden Spear, 13-2 Meet the Legend, 7-1 Jolly's Cracked It, 7-1 also Modus, 8-1 Consul de Thay, 12-1 Brain Power, 14-1 Who Dares Wins, Quick Jack and Stern Reuben, and 16-1 Bar.
85 grand to the winner. There's going to be some real good old gambles here. A few horses laid out for it. Graham, who wins?
Yeah, it's quite a tough one because obviously I'm coming in as a late replacement for Paul Keeley.
Yeah,
here.
Paul Keeley, by the way, is ill. And so Graham's come off the subs bench, but
I've not had the time that I wanted to have a good look at this race. But my initial view on the race was that Stern Reuben, who also hit the tracker last time out at Cheltenham, would run well. I mean, he's got some fantastic course form. He's won a couple of these handicaps at the track, and last time at Cheltenham, he went off really fast. I thought he went too strong in front. Stiff finish there, obviously got run down late, but still did best of the prominent runners, bar the win and Northfield Harvey, who I think is quite a smart type, for Dan Skelton, who also runs 2 here, doesn't he? And talking of how great Paul Nicholls is in 3-mile chases, how good is Dan Skelton in 2-mile handicap hurdles, who can reel off the top 2-mile handicap hurdles that he's been winning, and he's got a couple of interesting runners. Meet the Legend was a big tearaway early on when he was with Keith Dalgleish. Then he went to Skelton's and they tried to settle him, held him up. He got beat a couple of times because he pulled too hard, but I think they're getting there with him now. And Willow Saviour, I think, won this race, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it's a cracking race. I think Stern Reuben's the bet.
okay. What's your idea of the winner, Brendan Duke?
Oh, Golden Spear wins this.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's very
with his
it's
head
very
in his chest.
Yes, it's a very generous concession, the 5 places. But I've already backed this horse, win only. There's no need to have an each way bet. Off 125, I guesstimate that this is 140 horse over hurdles at the moment. It's not often you get a horse with a stone in hand. So he wins a very hot November handicap the last day off 87, like Nikita, Magic Circle, even that Snow Falcon, who's done the form no harm since, they were all in behind. So I was looking at this going, well, he's off 87, he wins November handicap, maybe he goes up to something like 93. I don't know what you do. I add maybe £42, 3 stone to get a hurdle mark. So that's getting him 135. So he's £10 in hand. So I said, all right, well, it looks attractive, so maybe he can't jump well. So I watched his last hurdles run in a race called the Lartigue Hurdle in Listowel. Jumped like an absolute bunny. One of the quickest jumpers in training, I'd say, this horse. And the Lartigue Hurdle was an unusual race. Well, it's usually a really competitive handicap, like 16 runners. There were only 8 runners in it. And it didn't go much of a pace, and he pulled quite hard, but still won, as you said, with his head in his chest. And there were horses in behind him like Copy That and Time for Mabel. They're all a stone higher than they were at the time. He'll have Raven Black and Stern Reuben to take them along, so he should settle beautifully. Jumps like a bunny, stone in hand. This is one of the bets of the season.
Really? Blimey.
Yeah, this is going to go off about 3-1. Tony Martin in the Saturday handicap. I know that they stand up to favourites on a Saturday, the bookies, but if I could advise listeners now, I'd be taking the 11-2 stroke 6-1 that's around at the moment.
And not even bother with the each way, no?
Well, I haven't bothered with each way. I'm glad, actually, I was doing this podcast because I probably wouldn't have looked at this race until tonight, when even then the prices could be gone. So I managed to burgle a bit of the 7s yesterday. So I'm in a very, very happy place.
And how many weeks, based on your last Paddy Power salary, of Paddy Power salaries, would this earn you if you win? How long will it take before you have to start really making a steadfast effort to return to paid employment if this wins?
Okay, 7s. It would approximately be about 6 weeks' salary.
Whoa, blimey, you're going for it. And Frank was always bitching that you were overpaid, so that's a lot of money. Okay, jolly good. Frank, will you endorse Brendan's view, or do you agree with Graham, or are you going to pick one of the others?
With Brendan. This is the biggest certainty. It's a bigger certainty than my missus to ask me a wedding-related question tonight.
And if we were just breaking down that particular market, what's the favourite in terms of what the wedding-related one could be? Is it the photographer or the cake?
Oh, just anything. Like, luckily, all the invites and stuff are done now, but every day she was asking me any more responses and stuff, and gladly that's over, but it'll be something else now, like something to do with my suit or I don't know, seating plans or something exciting like that. But anyway, I couldn't believe, Brent, we need you back. I've just down my notes here that he'll probably get to 93 on the flat, exactly the same as what you said. Just to give you Listowel, Tigers River is up £8, Time for Mabel 15, and copy that, £20 is that last hurdle run in Listowel. This is literally a steering job. And what you didn't mention, Dunnamoiler takes £3 off. It's like Tony Martin's
plate winning jockey, yeah.
Tony Martin's going to be laughing all the way home to me with the 85 grand.
I've never ever heard in all the history of my entire career, I've never heard a horse tit so vehemently. It's unbelievable, absolutely superb confidence. Okay, anything else at Ascot very quickly? Anything you like, Graham?
That's a good
Feel
question.
free to say no. I'm going to take that as a no. Brendan, anything in the other earlier races at Ascot?
Well, I'll just have an eye on Top Notch. It'd be very hard to beat. Cad de Burle on a going day is a smart horse, but he wouldn't be smart enough to give him £4. But it'd be just interesting to see how Top Notch jumps around a tough jumping track like Ascot.
Okay, anything else from you, Frank, at Ascot?
No, nothing else.
Okay, we'll move on to Haydock.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cash Card Plus, Paddy's brand new card available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.co.uk.
Welcome back. We've looked at Ascot. Now we're looking at Haydock. 2 races on Channel 4 at 2:05. We've got a listed mares race. Small field. Any idea who's going to win this one, Graham? What? What's funny?
No, whenever I see mares race, it always reminds me of one time when I was working with Sean Boyce on AT. I remember saying to him that I hate mares races, and he quit back very quickly. Sexist.
Really?
Yeah. But does anyone really like these mares?
No,
races?
they get an allowance to run against the male horses, so why don't they just do that? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I suppose you still got to have a winner. Tears of Clew Bay has always been quite highly regarded by Philip Hobbs. I remember when this horse won his bumper first time out, Andrew King phoned up very quickly to he'd tipped something else to suddenly change his nap and say, this is useful, and sure enough she did the business, and she's progressing well. She'd be my ideal winner, but not a race I like.
G-Rod likes sexist. G-Rod likes Tears of Clew Bay. Who do you like, Brendan?
Yeah, Tears of Clew Bay's, she's smart. She could do it settling a bit better than she did the last day, because this Colin's sister is a tough nut. And Mike Alisi was a decent sort in bumpers as well, but had an issue on its hurdles day. But I'd just about go for Colin's sister based on hurdles form. Okay,
Frank, who do you like?
Oh, Colin's sister wins this.
No.
She holds Tears of Clew Bay on the Sandown bumper form. I think this is the horse that gave Paddy Brent his 1,000th winner. I think it's going to be another one in the bag for him. The soft ground's ideal for her. She's really tough. I think she'll win this.
Okay, 240. One of the races that's really slipped down the kind of prestige list, if you like, is the Tommy Whittle. That was, a real big race in the past. 15 grand to the winner now, and it's a decent field. We've got 16 at the moment. Whether we'll have 16 on the day remains to be seen. Which of the 16 will pass the post in front, Graham Rodway?
Airlight Supreme would be a small bet for me. Again, it's another one of these ultra-competitive, almost impossible races. Another race that used to be contested by Gold Cup horses, wasn't it, as you were saying? Airlight Supreme, absolutely gutted about this one 2 starts ago, because all over the winner at Wetherby, done at 1.01 in running for all sorts of money and turned over. And that just happened to be our nap. At the time, which we were gutted about as well.
But you're going to keep the faith, are you?
We're going to keep the faith. A bit disappointing last time out in Newbury, but I expected to bounce back.
Righto, Brendan?
Very difficult, again, as Graham said. The boy skeleton seems to have rekindled Corin Wood's enthusiasm to a degree. And you probably remember him from a couple of seasons ago. He's one of the boldest jumpers in training. And he's off 128. He's been running all right off 124 over hurdles. He should be competitive, but it's very difficult.
Okay, Frank, any more confidence than the other two?
Not as confident at all. But, the one I think will win would be Topwood. He's been to Haydock twice on this type of ground off marks about 130. He's won once and been placed the other time. He's running off 136 here. Michael Hurd claims 5 off. I could see him going quite well. One to keep an eye on, possibly for the Welsh National in 10 days for Spain would be Roos Blanc if he did turn up in the Welsh National. It'd be nice to see him go well. This might just be a small bit short, but Top would be the one for me here.
Okay, right, G-Rod, we've got the rest of the Haydock card, we've got Fairyhouse, we've got Newcastle. Anything there that isn't your nap but you would like to put up? You don't have to.
No, but there is a horse that someone in the office, Tom Collins. You know Tom Collins?
Yeah, of course I do. I know them all. We're like one big happy family. Young Tom.
Yeah, he's very keen on one and made a very good case for it. I've just got to find it. That's the problem.
Right, well, while you are doing that, as Graham Taylor wants... You've got it now,
yeah,
have you?
2:35 at Lingfield, balancing time. And Tom was telling me that this horse has been travelling extremely well over 2 miles and not getting home. First time cheek pieces last time improved for them. Dropped to 1.5 miles, should be suited by the drop-in trip. I haven't seen the race at all myself, but he made a very strong case for it.
Tom's a very good worker, B. He's going to be a great journalist. Is he a good judge? I've never really known.
Well, he seems to be tipping plenty of winners in his weekender column, so fingers crossed for that one.
That'll do for me. Brendan, anything else you'd like to put up there? Anything at Fairyhouse catch your eye? Obviously, we've got York Hill running, haven't we?
Yes, York Hill makes his debut, so that'll his chasing debut, should I say? So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how relaxed he is. He's a nervy sort. I'm not convinced he's going to last, but he should be lasting tomorrow.
What do you mean? Not going to last?
I always worry about these horses who live on their nerves like he does, and he was a clumsy jumper of hurdles. He just, because of the way he pulled so hard in his races and uses up so much energy beforehand. Now he's an outrageous engine. But it's just that these horses can burn out rather than fade away, and that would be my concern for him. But not tomorrow. I mean, he'd be just different class to these horses. Frank thought he'd be 1-8. That sounds about right, and he'll win. There were a couple in Haydock. That Big Jim. Alex Hales is going well at the moment, and he's booked Harry Cobden for this. Now, this horse has jumping issues, and if I had a horse with jumping issues, I'd get Harry Cobden. This young fella has serious talent and particularly good at setting horses of fences.
Who's this Big Jim?
Big Jim.
I've got Keelan Woods in the plate. Oh
no! I checked it yesterday, and Harry Cobden was booked.
No, I think there might have been a little switch-rooney there.
Well, that's annoying. No disrespect to the boy Woods, but I would have rathered Cobden. So thanks for that.
That's all right.
And we'll move swiftly. Well, Big Jim, he is well handicapped.
Let's keep the faith with Big Jim.
Let's keep the faith with Big Jim. And then we should mention the 2 o'clock in Lingfield, a listed race. Some real old favourites here: Grand Desire, Lingfield legend, Educate, and Battalion. And Grand Desire turned over at even money the last day. He was behind Educate, actually. He'd be favourite in spite of that. Educate ran a fine race, got run down by this thing called Team Talk, who just came down the outside with a withering run. That Team Talk is certainly a horse to watch on the all-weather. And Battalion, picked up by the boy Osborne for 70k, and certainly seemed to have rekindled his enthusiasm, bolted up the last day, and on back form would be in and around these. So between the three of them, that should be a right good race.
Are you putting a tip up in this race?
I'm gonna go with Educate.
Okay.
I think he'd be overpriced. But I think he can confirm the form of Grand Desire, and Grand Desire would be a shorter price. So I'll go Educate.
Lovely stuff. And Frank, give us your good things at Fairyhouse, if you would.
There's plenty. Yeah, well, obviously York Hill goes over fences for the first time, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. A lot of people probably think he's a likely JLT winner. For anyone listening, Belvedere makes his debut over fences. He's the one you need to be looking at towards that tomorrow. He's your one to be keeping an eye on. Maldini goes in the beginner's chase at 2:45 tomorrow. He was third on his chasing debut in a red-hot renewal where Haymount won and Coney Island, who bolted up in the Drinmore, was second. He was a close third. He goes again tomorrow against a genie in a bottle who was beaten in neck by Martello Tower at Fairyhouse a couple of weeks ago. He looks a dour stayer in the making, but I fancy Maldini might be able to do the business tomorrow. And for the same owners and same jockey, Davy Russell up, Tuzo goes in the 135. It's a second handicap off a mark of 114. He had some decent bumper form. He won one and was close up behind a couple of decent sorts. And on his hurdles debut, he wasn't far behind Ed Wolf and Haymount. And when you're looking at that kind of form and seeing he got a mark of 114, he could potentially be well in. I'd like his chances in that tomorrow. And in Newcastle, 2:55, No Planning, who unfortunately was tipped up by me when coming down the rehearsal chase, is back out at Newcastle. He's off a mark of 133. He does all his winning in the 130s. He looks sure to go well.
Okay. Going back to the wedding, Frank, have you invited Brendan?
I haven't actually, no. But
Is that because you just don't like him enough, or is it?
We're very restricted with numbers, Bruce.
Is it one of those weddings where you have to invite your cousins?
Well, it's more Jill's cousins. She has a lot of cousins and stuff.
Has she?
I purposely tried to fall out with as much family as possible the past 6 months.
Yeah, I personally speaking, I think cousins are one of the most overrated things in the game. I think you get some good ones, but you don't want to fill your wedding up with cousins particularly.
I've one cousin coming because he was the one cousin I used to kind of go drinking with and stuff when I was a younger fella. So.
And has that caused acrimony among the rest of the cousins that he's going and they're not?
I don't know, but
sounds like you don't care either.
Much, Bruce, to be honest.
I like your style. Right, let's get the best bets for Saturday.
If he doesn't win, I will be absolutely staggered. I think it's a stone cold certainty.
Are you missing Keels, Brendan?
Oh, always. But G-Rod's stepped in and done a sterling job off the bench.
All right, well, we'll start with you, Brendan. You are a very special guest this week. So who's your Saturday best?
Well, I will be staggered, and I think he's a certainty. Golden Spear, 335 Ascot.
I thought you'd say that. Are you going to say that as well, Frank?
It is a certainty, but I think Colin's sister is a certainty as well. So I'm going to put up Colin's sister in the 205 Haydock.
Righto, and Graham, who are you going for?
Well, I think that you know what I mean. Harry is a certainty.
Great. I love the way this word certainty is getting bandied about. Let's hope they all do the business. Right, let's look at Sunday in just a mo.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.co.uk.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. The panel consists of me, Bruce Millington, him, Graham Rodway, an emotional return over in Ireland to Brendan Duke, and from Paddy Power we've got Frank Hickey. I will say before we look at Navan and anything else on Sunday that we have hit the 1 million listeners mark on the Postcast for 2016. Thank you so much for listening. I didn't expect that. We're really delighted with that figure, so thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you'll stick with us onward and upward into 2017 on the Postcasts, and we will make sure that Brendan Duke makes sporadic appearances because it's absolutely lovely to have him back. And Brendan, you can serve first. We're going to look at the 12:45 at Navan on Sunday. It's called the Navan Novices Hurdle. It's a Grade 2, and the horse that will pass the post in front has as its nomenclature...
I'm going to say Death Duty. I mean, it's not going to be easy to give £3 to Balthazar Dallier, invitation only, and Mona Lee. Now, invitation only and Mona Lee made their hurdles debuts in the fog, so I can't tell you a lot about them, but they were smart bumper horses.
That heroic camera work from the fella in the Jeep on the inside made it quite good, wasn't it?
Trojan work. I mean, yeah, maybe actually to a degree you can work out what they're doing. But they're kind of shadowy figures, so I didn't want to make too many judgments based on that. But it's a great effort from them, in fairness. Particularly in these health and safety days, because I often did think of them hanging out the roof of the thing. But anyway, it doesn't. But Death Duty, his jumping was a little bit sloppy the last day, but he's just such a lovely way of going, this horse. And I hope he wins. Excuse me. And fair play to Gordon Elliott as well, because in this time of multiple options at Cheltenham, he said to the punters, we're going for the Albert Bartlett with this horse. So hopefully he wins tomorrow on the road to the Albert Bartlett.
Excellent stuff. G-Rod, who do you like?
He reminds me a little bit of a young Don Cossack, Death Duty. He's a smart prospect, but the other day Ruby Walsh was on the telly and he was very, very keen on invitation only, suggesting possibly that he was among the best at Willie Mullins's. Now, of course, you have to take all this talk with a little bit of pinch of salt, especially when it's coming from Ruby and Willie, because they don't always tell you everything that you think you're going to find out. But
you calling Ruby Walsh a liar? This is getting very, very dangerous. This.
Let's just say that he's not one to go too overboard, is he, Ruby? But he seemed fairly keen on this one.
So you're going to go with invitation.
So that's good enough for me. Yeah.
I know he's very highly regarded in the yard. Frank, you've got a show of betting, and hopefully you've also got a strong selection.
It's 6-4 Death Duty, 5-2 invitation only, 5-1 Mona Lee, 6-1 Moulin Avant, 10-1 Balthazar Dallier, and 20-1 Bar. It's a difficult one. Willie has won 4 of the last 5 of runnings of this race, and it's a difficult one because you've got the favourite for the Albert Bartlett and the favourite for the Neptune as things stand. I'd probably just row in behind Willie and Ruby here. I think invitation only. He hasn't been beaten yet under rules, so I think he might be difficult to beat.
It's a contest.
But it's not with great. Not with great confidence. I'm tipping that up though.
Okay.
It's a good race.
It is a good race. It will tell us a lot about Cheltenham. The 120s, the Tara handicap hurdle, got some better known, certainly more exposed names in here. Brendan, have you had a good look at this one?
Yes, I had a look at it. The score Mar, he likely ran into us. He was on a hat trick, and then he ran into a very well handicapped horse in jury duty the last day in Navan. Got £3 for it. I don't think that's excessive. I think he'll be hard to beat in the race.
Score Mir. No, what do you call it? Score Mar.
I'm not sure this is Irish. I mean, it's shameful to say I'm probably a little bit better French pronunciations than I am at Irish. Johnny Ward has called me up on this before. I'm going to say Mir.
Okay, fair enough. Frank, have you got a view on this one?
Yeah, I do. I think Gartine, Robert Tyner would be pretty happy with him getting a mark of 133 for his handicap debut. He went over fences the last day at Navan, where he was only 2 3/4 lengths behind Annabelle Fly and 2 lengths behind Martello Tower. Now Martello Tower's come out and won again. And if you think back to his hurdles form, Gartine was second to Min on debut. He won a bumper at Leopardstown, and he put the plotting shed in his place at Navan over hurdles. The plotting shed's rated in around 150 now. So I think the mark of 133 could be very lenient, and I wouldn't be surprised if this smashed up on Sunday morning.
Okay, sometimes you get overly grandly entitled horse races. The 325 at Navan on Sunday is called the Future Champions Irish National Hunt Flat Race, but it absolutely stands up to scrutiny. The last 10 years have produced 2 real superstars in Don Cossack, and anyone else want to name the other one? I think we're talking about 8-9 years ago. Dun Gweeb won the race. So it's a race that certainly tends to throw up decent beasts. And Brendan, who might win this one and enhance their reputation?
Oh, well, I mean, Sam Crow will be odds on in this. Now, he's probably a horse who's going to be overbet because of his reputation. But as you know, Bruce, I've always been a slave to the aesthetic, and I happened to be in on a fog-bound Punchestown, but you could see this horse in the parade ring before he won his bumper. Now, he cost 100 bags as a 3-year-old. Then he went and won a point-to-point, and its sales price went up to 325 bags. But you could see where the money went. This horse, he has the physique of a future champion anyway, and Elliot's made no secret of how much he loves him, and he's going to look after him this year. In fact, this might be his last run of the season. Now, the bumper he won was a boat race, so it's hard to say. But and he will be too short, but I won't be opposing him.
Because, I mean, they don't run their horse in the champion bumper, do they, the Gigginstown?
No.
They're not interested in that, are they?
No, they have a very grown-up attitude to bumpers, kind of an English attitude, actually.
Excellent. To what extent might Sam Crow be odds on, do you think, Frank Hickey?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's about a 1-2 shot, personally,
fair
but
enough.
I don't know. What would you think, Brendan?
Yeah, well, the only other credible runner is one of Willie's, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good time Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that took 4 goes, and it was impressive down in Cork, but that was a poor bumper as well. Yeah, 1 to 2 sounds about right to me.
Okie
Yeah,
dokie.
it's difficult to see him getting beaten, Sam Crow, to be honest.
Righto. Okay, I want a horse each from you for Sunday. We'll start with you, G-Rod. Do you want to go last?
Yeah.
Okay, you go last. Brendan, you go first.
Scoremar.
Scoremar, and that's in the 120.
120, yeah.
Frank Hickey, who's your Sunday best?
On the 120, Gartine for me, please.
Gertine.
No.
They didn't give you much time there, Graham, did they?
They just rushed
You
through
needed
it,
some
didn't
David Jennings length answers for that, didn't you?
Well, I'm
Well,
gonna.
we should mention that. So, do you need more time, Greg?
No, go on. Yeah, no, give
Okay.
him more time. What should we mention, Brendan?
Well, we should mention that Astoria, who's a very exciting mare with Willie, she runs an listed mares race in Thurles. Now, again, she'll be heavy odds on, but she beat a horse the last day called She's Otto. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Well, that was the one that Patrick put up at the start as his good thing,
right.
didn't he?
Yeah, and I'd say beating her 6 lengths is strong form. Like, she already had good form. Like, she was about 10 lengths behind Chair's Girl, excuse me, on her debut for Willie. But she's an exciting mare with Cheltenham in mind.
That's Astoria in the 210 at Thurles. Blimey, that was a big test. You wouldn't want Toya Wilcox saying that. Go on, Graham.
Yeah, I want to tip something at Fakenham because I'm going to be going up to Fakenham on Sunday.
That's a long way, that. Have you been before?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. They do a fantastic hog roast there. Yeah, one of the best hog roasts around, that is. So I'm going to go for Drumley Lad there, which runs in the 145, improving type for Brendan Powell. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll have some winners up there and a good day.
That would be nice. You taking the whole family?
Well, I'm taking my young son. You see, my wife is 8 months pregnant, and she's Canadian, so she's having a baby shower. Do you know what one of those
I've
is?
heard about that. Yeah, my wife went to one the other day. What a load of old bollocks.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought, but she loves it, and I've been told to make myself scarce. So I thought, well, Fakenham Sunday, take the youngster.
Is this where they all the friends come around and they buy loads of stuff from Mother Care and festoon the mother with all that sort of stuff, yeah?
I think so. I'm hoping they buy lots of chocolate and stuff like that.
No, it won't be any of that, mate. It'll all be bottles and sterilisers and nappy sacks and all that.
I've been told that there'll be plenty of food left over, so that sounds good to me.
And are you working Saturday?
No, I'm off tomorrow and I'm going to Ascot. So it's a racing
love
weekend
it,
for
Ascot
me.
Saturday, Fakenham Sunday for G-Rod. What about you, Brendan? What will you be doing?
I possibly might go racing at the weekend. I'm in this position where people ring me up now to say, I'm going to the races. Do you want to come with me? And I've no reason not to go. But no one has rung thus far, so I don't know. Otherwise, it will be watching the racing tomorrow and the darts in the evening, and then Sunday will be NFL stroke darts.
Who do you think will win the darts this year?
Oh, I think Van Gerwen will win. I mean, it's not... There's no imagination.
He's only won it once, though, you know.
Yes, I know. I mean, and of course, someone can always but Barnava beat him last year with he just played out of his skin, the game of his life. So that's always possible. But he's only been beaten 5 or 6 times this year. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Steve Palmer has lots of weird and wacky bets, but the one he's had this year that I really do love is that, and he always stakes in such weird amounts. I think he's had about £168 double on Scarlett Moffat for I'm a Celebrity and Michael Van Gerwen for the darts. So hopefully he'll do the business. Now then, obviously the big question though, Brendan, what's the love life like? We left when you last spoke. There was a string of one-off dates that didn't really get anywhere. How are things progressing there?
Yeah, that trend has continued. Now, of course, being of an optimistic bent, this is the season of goodwill to all men, Bruce. So hopefully the ladies take that attitude when it comes to me in the next couple of weeks. But it's been Grimsby Town up to this. I've nothing to tell you. I've been on more first dates. I told them my crane story. I thought, well, this is like, you know, they'd say, well, just hold me knickers there for a second or something. They'd be so dazzled. But they haven't. They were there. It was nice to meet you. And best of luck with everything.
Well, the last time I saw you was on the Friday of the open meeting at Cheltenham, and you were over with various colleagues, and you were going to hit the town and see if you could find yourself a nice Cotswolds lass. Did that not prove a result wicket?
No, I didn't get a result. It wasn't for the one to try, and there's no doubt that those tweed skirts do things to a man. But no joy there either. So I've taken my failure on tour. But don't worry, Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming, Bruce.
Is there a particular function between now and the New Year that you're homing in on? You've put a red ring round it in the calendar, and you said I'm going to wear my signature underpants and my best aftershave and really go for it on that one.
I haven't really been invited to anything, but I'm going to go to Leopardstown all 4 days this year, which I haven't had the chance to do because I've been working for a long time. So I'll probably go out afterwards.
I was thinking more of kind of Lily's Bordello than Leopardstown, but...
Yeah, but post-Leopardstown, you wouldn't know where it could end up.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, good luck with that. I'm no doubt when you join us in the new year for one of these, there'll be some fresh stories to tell, hopefully not involving dead cranes, because they're probably an endangered species. Frank, what's the rota done for you this weekend?
I'm off for the weekend.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm going down to Cork in the morning with the missus. Every year we have a kind of a Christmas dinner with my friends and their better halves, where we go out and pretend to be civilised for 3 hours, and then...
Do you like them, or are they boring?
Oh no, they're great crack.
Oh, good.
Like, as in, you're going to get probably a fight between one couple, maybe one person possibly arrested, and maybe a possible breakup as well. So it's very entertaining. It's like watching a soap.
Blimey, all right. Well, let's hope you're watching that rather than participating. And then on Sunday, what's happening? Trying to get yourself out of the police cell by the sounds of it.
Oh, no, I'd be cute enough that way. I just do the watching. I don't partake in any of the real messing. But I think we're meeting my parents for lunch on Sunday and then driving back to Dublin.
Fantastic. And presumably for you two boys, if Golden Spear wins the last at Ascot, your mood and your Christmas cheer will have lifted considerably, yes?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm sure it'll be more attractive to women after this wins.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Your pockets will be bulging. Great stuff.
Bulging.
Superb. Graham, thank you so much for stepping in. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy Ascot and Fakenham. Frank, well played. I hope the wedding questions and the interrogation isn't too bad. And Brendan, can I just say what a pleasure it is to have you back. Will you come back and join us again in the new year?
No, you guys are so nice to me. Yeah, I'll be like, well, just for example, we could use the phrase special guest star, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just off the top of my head, I could be a special guest star. I'm just saying.
I love that, mate. Absolutely. I can't think of a more apt description. Thank you so much for listening. We are back on Monday with the review postcast. Do join us for that.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.